Tonight on WTOP-10 Nightly News, a Buffalo firefighter dies while fighting the flames.
And how the emergency trainings on Brightspace can help students prepare for dangerous situations.
And SUNY Oswego's box office ticket sales set to resume after a major outage.
WTOP-10 Nightly News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to WTOP-10 Nightly News. I'm Jolie Santiago.
And I'm Logan Stolberg.
The SUNY box office is preparing to reopen tomorrow ahead of a big weekend of home championship games for basketball and ice hockey. In a public Facebook post, the official booster club of the Oswego State Hockey Program says SUNYAC Ice Hockey Championship ticket sales will begin tomorrow morning starting at 10 a.m. Tickets may be purchased in person at the Marano Campus Center box office or by phone. All customers will receive a paper ticket and present a photo ID to pick up their tickets.
The update comes after a nationwide security breach late last week, which took the online ticket portal offline. Ticket sales resume in time for Laker fans who buy tickets for this week's contests. 2 basketball games on Friday, 1 on Saturday, and the SUNYAC Hockey Championship on Saturday night. Be the Match, a national nonprofit program, will be teaming up with Phi Sigma Sigma sorority to host a bone marrow drive. The event will take place on March 2nd and March 3rd. It will be held at the Marano Campus Center Concourse from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. The organizers of the drive say donating bone marrow will help to cure more than 75 blood-related diseases.
We're nearly 2 months into the new year, and there have been 85 mass shootings in the United States. That's including the Michigan State University shooting, where a gunman killed 3 students and injured 5. Tragedies like the one at the Michigan campus have college students everywhere, including here at SUNY Oswego, thinking about how they would react in an emergency situation. Oswego Now reporter Natalie Barden has more on a new resource that can help students learn how to respond in an on-campus crisis.
Hold, secure, evacuate, shelter, and lockdown. These are the 5 situations the new emergency preparedness training aims to teach the campus community how to respond to. The fully online training program opened to SUNY Oswego students and faculty on the university's digital learning platform, Brightspace, on February 1st. It consists of learning objectives and guidelines for each category with a 15-question quiz at the end. An 80% or above is considered a passing grade. After reading a couple of the modules, I put my own knowledge to the test and scored a grade of an 80%. Junior Kyle Spizak scored a 73%. He says he had not been reminded of how to react in an emergency situation since he was in high school.
Definitely in some situations, I thought you were supposed to do something else because I hadn't really been reminded of it since high school. So it's a good refresher, 100%.
Junior Abigail Redman earned a 40% on the quiz and says the training has important information to keep everyone safe.
No one ever knows what's going to happen in this climate. Anything can really happen, and I think it would be safe if everyone knew exactly what to do.
But what happens when students and staff know exactly what to do and are unable to do it? In the case of an active shooter situation, the Brightspace course says to immediately lock the classroom door from the inside. But here in Mahar Hall, this classroom is just one example of a door that doesn't lock from the inside without a key. If doors do not lock, the Brightspace training says instructors and staff should use heavy furniture to quickly barricade doors. But the lockdown section of the training says lockdowns are used for threats, including active shooters. It says the goal of a lockdown is to build a time barrier between you and a threat. It goes on to say a locked door is a proven time barrier. Next time you're in class, take a moment to check for an interior lock on the door. Chances are you may not see one.
Multiple news outlets report that the Michigan State University classroom where the gunman opened fire did not lock easily from the inside. Last week, we reached out to Oswego's University Police and the Oswego Communication Officer for comment. We will bring you more information when we get it.
The Oswego City Police Department and SUNY Oswego's campus police are looking back on a weekend in Syracuse where they attended the opening ceremonies of the 2023 Special Olympics in New York. In a tweet from the Oswego Police, the department shared photos from the weekend supporting the competing athletes and coaches. Over the 500 athletes took part in the Special Olympics, this past weekend.
The Senate passed a resolution from the Biden administration allowing managers who are responsible for retirement funds to consider the impact of climate change. The resolution passed by a 50-46 vote. The Senate is expected to vote on the resolution next week. New York State Senator Chuck Schumer says the resolution is not about differences in opinion.
This isn't about ideological preference. It's about looking at the biggest picture possible for investors to minimize risk and maximize returns. Why shouldn't you look at the risk posed by an increasingly volatile climate incidents? Why shouldn't they consider aging populations or other trends that could impact their portfolio?
New York City is agreeing to pay close to $10 million to a settlement lawsuit against the New York Police Department. The lawsuit comes after a June 4th, 2020 protest in the Bronx Mott Haven neighborhood. Civilians say they were assaulted, abused, and trapped by police during the protest after George Floyd's death. In response to the settlement, the NYPD says the COVID-19 pandemic affected their response to protests and they have made reformations since then.
Sad news in Buffalo, New York. A member of the Buffalo Fire Department died while fighting a fire on Main Street in downtown area. The building's interior collapsed, leading to a blast of flames, which then entered the streets. The cause of the fire is being investigated and the building will be demolished. The Buffalo Fire Commissioner says it was difficult to keep firefighters from re-entering the burning building and attempt to find their fallen coworker.
The hardest thing actually was to keep our firefighters back from re-entering the building to help our fallen firefighter. That was the most difficult part of it.
Here in Oswego, it's looking like another winter storm is coming this weekend.
Storm Team 10 meteorologist Jordan Thirwall joins us in the studio. Jordan, can we expect a lot of snow in the next few days?
Well, our winter weather is not going anywhere just right yet. If you guys like winter weather as much as I do, you will be pleased to know that we are starting off our month with more snow. However, this storm will bring messy weather conditions and potentially hazardous conditions. But this storm will not last forever, and better weather is ahead. All of this and more in my upcoming full forecast, but first, back to the desk.
Thank you, Jordan. Coming up later tonight, what a study is saying about the U.S. gender pay gap.
And the hit Netflix series, Stranger Things, is getting a play adoption. More on that after the break.
Say, President Stanley, whenever there's bad weather, who would you turn to?
I'd turn to Storm Team 10.
No,
right
but you've
here.
got to say it like this. Storm Team 10. Say it with me. Storm Team 10.
Roll it.
Jill told me it was Kitty from Glee. Yeah, what is it?
It's Al Roker.
Hi, I'm Storm Team 10 meteorologist Jolie Thirwall in for Lily Zent. Currently in Oswego, it is cloudy and 35 degrees. Southeast winds are making it feel below freezing at a wind chill of 28 degrees. Going into the night, early Thursday mornings, we start with fog before 7 a.m. and then going into 9 a.m. we have cloudy weather with a temperature of 36. As we go farther into the afternoon, we have a chance of snow and rain, 30 to 50%, and temps also increase. As we go further into the evening, precipitation slows down and our temps begin to drop once again. So this low pressure system is moving across the continent, and with it, it brings unsettled conditions such as snow, rain, mixed precipitation, possibly freezing rain and sleet. As it moves out of our area, there is still a chance for lake effect weather conditions to impact our local area. Going into our 7-day forecast, through the storm, we're going to expect a wintry mix of 40% tomorrow, with lows of 22. Going into Friday morning, throughout Friday, we can expect winds to increase with wind gusts up to 32 miles per hour. As Saturday is the last day of the storm, we have a wintry mix of 80%, and then it moves out through Sunday, and weather conditions improve going into the week as the system moves out of the local area and further into the Atlantic. That is all I have for the forecast, and back to the desk.
Thank you, Jordan. A new report indicates the U.S. gender pay gap has not narrowed much in the past 20 years. The Pew Research Center analysis shows that women made 82 cents for every man's dollar a man earned last year. The center says women's pay has been stuck even as they outpace men in educational qualifications. Pew also notes a racial wage gap and says black women last year earned 70% as much as white men.
Michigan State University is implementing safety changes after a shooting on campus that left 3 dead and 5 hospitalized last month. Starting in a couple weeks, most buildings on campus will require key card access to enter after 6 p.m. until 7:30 a.m. 1,300 classrooms are also getting their locks on their doors, and the university is installing more security cameras around campus.
Extended food stamp benefits are ending for millions of American families across the country today. Shelley Molaski has a look at the changes coming to American households and how to lessen the impact of the reduced benefits.
Starting this month, it's going to get harder for millions of American families on food stamps to afford groceries. On Wednesday, additional benefits allocated for the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, ended nationwide.
It's a big impact no matter what age group you're looking at.
Lawmakers voted to end that additional emergency funding last month, 3 years after they approved it during the COVID-19 pandemic.
And with the allotments going away, people will be back to an average of only $6 a person a day for food. That's what the SNAP allotment is.
According to the latest federal data, in November, more than 42 million Americans were getting food stamp assistance. Now recipients will be getting a reduced amount, an average of about $90 a month less in benefits.
My income hasn't changed, so I have to find another way to make up that money that we were getting.
The end comes at a really difficult time. Low-income families are already struggling to stretch their dollars to purchase essential items amid high inflation.
I'm going to have to go to a food bank now. I don't want to have to go to a food bank.
So what can you do? The USDA recommends applying for other food and nutrition services if you qualify, like the Summer Food Service Program. Last year, Congress passed legislation that created a permanent program providing funds to families of about 30 million children to buy groceries in place of school meals during summer break. And there's also WIC, the special supplemental nutrition program for women, infants, and children. For Consumer Watch, I'm Shelley Malashi.
Fans are waiting to say goodbye to Stranger Things after its 5th and final season premieres, but it may not have to do so after all. Netflix says the hit sci-fi horror show will take on a new life as a stage play. Stranger Things: The First Shadow will make its first world premiere later this year at the Phoenix Theatre in London. The television show creators Matt and Ross Duffer will act as creative producers for the play. Tickets for the show will go on sale in the spring.
Coming up, an official prediction on when the iconic Washington, D.C. cherry blossoms will bloom.
And a major announcement from the American pharmaceutical company on the cost of insulin.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Shine on that black. Look at the bling. Do we got a diamond tester on? Yeah, that's getting back. Yep.
10 out of 10 recommend on Yelp.
We're going to the playoffs. I can't believe I missed that. Every time I'm buzzed, I spend too much time on my phone. What? I should take your phone away. No. I'll call for a ride. Hey, why does my face look like that?
I'm playing with these new face filters.
Okay, you know what? Yep, that's mine. But I need that back. No. Kevin!
Welcome back to WTOP-10 Nightly News. Eli Lilly, a large American pharmaceutical company, says it will make price cuts to lower the cost of the most commonly used types of insulin. The company says it will lower costs of insulin by 70% and will cap out-of-pocket insulin costs at $35 for people with private insurance. Eli Lilly says it will also expand its insulin value program, which caps out-of-pocket insulin costs at $35 or less per month for those who are uninsured.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention say a third of all U.S. adults report getting less than the recommended amount of sleep. Many turn on melatonin supplements to help. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither has more from a sleep specialist on what to know about melatonin before taking them.
It's called the sleep hormone. Melatonin helps promote sleepiness in our brains, but for some, sleep doesn't come easy.
Over-the-counter melatonins are products that people are increasingly reaching to.
But before you reach for those melatonin supplements, Dr. Nancy Foldberry-Schaefer, director of the Cleveland Clinic Sleep Disorder Center, says to know what's causing your sleep problems, there could be underlying issues that need to be addressed. She says those pills have proven to be effective for conditions like circadian rhythm disorders, but may not help all sleep issues.
While there's some subjective evidence that melatonin can help people with insomnia, there's much less objective evidence that melatonin works well to treat insomnia.
Because the supplements are offered in a variety of dosages, she says the right one may vary from person to person. And if the supplements are taken to treat a sleep disorder, they also need to be appropriately timed.
People who take melatonin in the middle of the night or take a second dose of melatonin several hours after bedtime will actually see a disturbance in sleep and may actually see that their sleep timing becomes more delayed.
That's why she says it's best to talk to your doctor. For Health Minute, I'm Andy Gaither.
The doctor says women who are pregnant or breastfeeding should not take melatonin unless approved by a healthcare provider.
The USPS announced plans to buy more than 9,200 Ford commercial electric delivery vehicles. The Postal Service says the vehicles will fill an urgent need. The USPS received $3 billion from Congress to update its vehicles. The money will also be used to purchase 14,000 new EV charging stations. The stations will be installed at least 75 facilities across the country within the next year.
As spring approaches, so does the blooming of the cherry blossom trees in Washington, D.C. The National Park Service says it predicts the cherry blossoms to bloom between March 22nd and March 25th. The service says the blossoms will bloom sooner than the past years due to a warmer than usual winter.
Coming up in sports, Alex Brooks.
Alex, can you give us a quick preview?
Yes, I can. Thanks, guys. Oswego Women's Lacrosse kicked off their 2023 campaign. It was a day full of hockey trades, and the Battle of New York basketball is tonight. All this and more after the break.
Welcome back to Major Discussions.
Did you know dragging chains can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Hey there, I'm Al Roker, class of 76. Yes, way back in 76. Back when the earth was cooling. You're watching WTOP.
Welcome back to WTOP-10. I'm Alex Brooks with your sports report, and let's get right into it. Starting off on the Laker turf, the Oswego women's lacrosse team started their 2023 season against Clarkson in a 15-11 defeat. The Lakers fell 10-1 after 2.5 quarters, but senior attack Madison Davis put on her own attack with 3 consecutive goals and ended the game with 5 goals. The Lakers lost, but they scored 4 straight points and hope to bring that late scoring into their next game this Saturday on the road against SUNY Canton. Moving over to the Salt City, the Syracuse Orange men's basketball team took a tough loss against Georgia Tech last night in the Dome. The Orange are now on a 4-game losing streak, which is not in part to Judah Mintz scoring double digits for the 11th consecutive game with 23 on Tuesday. Going into the second half, the Orange were on a 10-4 run, but nothing could get going as the Yellow Jackets outscored the Orange in both halves. Syracuse looks to turn it around against Wake Forest on Saturday at home at 5 p.m. From the hardwood to the ice, the NHL trade deadline buzz is heating up as the Los Angeles Kings traded goaltender Jonathan Quick to the Blue Jackets in a blockbuster trade. The Kings got 2 picks and Vladislav Gavrikov and Yunus Korpisalo As a Kings franchise icon, he led the team to 2 Stanley Cup championships in 2012 and 2014. He has all-time wins, saves, and shutouts for the team. The NHL trade deadline is this Friday at 3 p.m. Let's move back to the court as the Knicks and Nets square off in the Barclays Center as we speak. The two New York Hoops are both fighting for seeding as the Knicks are 5th in the Eastern Conference and the Nets are 6th. Both of these teams coming into this matchup with different streaks as the Knicks have won 6 straight with the Nets losing 3 straight. The Battle of New York is in New York. Referring back to that 3-game losing streak, the Nets faced the Bucks last night in an Eastern Conference matchup as we stay in the Barclays Center as star Giannis Antetokounmpo gets ready. We started the first quarter, Brooklyn up as Dinwiddie goes up the court, passes it to Bridges as he makes that 3 no problem as the Nets go up 12. Fast forward to the end of the first, Giannis moving up the court with authority, clock is going down, and he dunks over 2 defenders. As we look at this play, Giannis putting the Nets on a poster with that posterizing dunk. Now in the second, it's a 5-point lead for the Nets. Cam Johnson up the court, decides to give it to Bridges over former net Brook Lopez for that 3. Bridges had 31 points on the night. We go to late third quarter, Bobby Portis with a wide open 3, and the Bucks take the 1-point lead. We're going to fast forward to the fourth. Chris Middleton with that 3 puts the nail in the coffin. He had 18 points on the game. Giannis with a double-double with 33 points and 15 rebounds to win 118-104. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back for our final story of the night on WTOP-10.
Hey guys, it's me, Isabella Gomez, filling in for Smokey Bear because he's got more to say than just...
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Like, if you're outside enjoying a barbecue, don't let a hamburger distract you from fire safety. Make sure you aren't dumping your hot coals or ashes onto the ground because that could start a wildfire. So take wildfire prevention seriously and let's save the world one day at a time. Juntos con Smokey Bear, podemos hacerlo. Go to smokeybear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
Welcome back to WTOP-10 Nightly News. For our final story of the night, Kentucky Fried Chicken is bringing back a fan favorite menu item after 10 years.
The KFC Double Down will be available for a limited time starting March 6th. The sandwich has 2 fried chicken fillets as the bun.
The Double Down made its debut in 2010 and sold more than 10 million sandwiches. It briefly reappeared in 2014.
KFC says fans have been asking for the sandwich's return, so the chain is answering the call by bringing it back again.
So here's the question, guys. Would you put that with Krispy Kreme or actually on the Krispy Kreme bun, or have a Krispy Kreme KFC chicken sandwich? Does that make sense?
No, I don't think we should.
I think it might actually be good, honestly. But
yeah, why not try it?
Exactly.
Yeah, try it.
That's
something
funny.
new, something
Well,
interesting.
that's our report for tonight. Be sure to stay tuned for the break with Scott and Kate.
Thank you for watching, everyone, and have a great night.